Stop listening to boomer advice. Seriously, just stop. Every time your Uncle Mort tells you that renting is throwing money away, I want you to look him dead in the eye and ask him to show you his last HVAC repair receipt. The real cost of owning a home in 2026 makes renting look like a bargain, but you've been brainwashed by decades of real estate propaganda and HGTV reruns. You think you're building equity, but in reality you're just funding the bank's third yacht and a local contractor's new F-150. Your house is not an investment. It is a liability that you happen to sleep in. It's a forced savings account with termites, and today we're going to do the actual math that your mortgage broker forgot to mention. If you think a $500,000 house that sells for $700,000 10 years later made you $200,000, you're the reason I have a job. Put down the live, laugh, love sign and pay attention. We're going deep into the financial abyss of homeownership. Let's talk about the psychology of the homeowner trap. Why are you so obsessed with owning a piece of the earth? It's called status signaling, and it's a disease. In the US, we treat homeownership as a personality trait. If you rent, you're a transient. If you own, you're a pillar of the community. Give me a break. You're not a pillar. You're a hostage. You've fallen for the sunk cost fallacy before you even signed the closing papers. You spent $15,000 on due diligence and inspections, and now you feel like you have to buy the place even though the foundation looks like a game of Jenga played by a drunk toddler. The average American behavior is a case study in loss aversion. You're so terrified of losing money to a landlord that you're willing to lose 5 times that amount to the bank, the county tax assessor, and the homeowners association. The HOA, the only place where you can pay $400 a month for the privilege of a 60-year-old named Karen telling you your trash cans are too aggressive. You've been sold a narrative of lifestyle creep masquerading as stability. You buy the house, then you need the lawnmower. Then you need the better lawnmower because the neighbor has a John Deere. Then you need the patio furniture. Then you need to update the kitchen because your cabinets aren't the right shade of gray. You aren't building wealth. You are curating a museum of consumerism that you have to insure against fire and theft. And let's talk about the illusion of control. You think owning means nobody can kick you out. Tell that to the bank during a recession, or the government when they decide a new highway needs to go through your living room. You don't own anything until that 30-year sentence. I mean, mortgage is paid off. Until then, you're just a glorified tenant for the bank, and unlike a renter, you are the one who has to pay when the roof decides to become a sieve. You're broke because you viewed your primary residence as a wealth generator. A wealth generator pays you every month. Does your house send you a check? No. It sends you a bill for property taxes, which, by the way, go up every time your neighborhood gets a crumble cookies. You're not an investor. You're a custodian for a pile of wooden drywall that is actively trying to rot. Alright nerds, grab a calculator, or don't, and just let me embarrass your financial decisions with real math. Let's take a modest $450,000 home in a decent American suburb. You put 10% down because you're a responsible millennial. That's $45,000 out of your pocket. You think, great, I have $405,000 left to pay. Wrong. At a 6.8% interest rate, which is the new normal over 30 years, that loan will actually cost you roughly $950,000. You are paying more in interest than the original price of the house. You just bought the bank a house while you were trying to buy yours. But wait, there's more! Let's talk about the unrecoverable costs. These are the ghost expenses that people omit from their Instagram posts. First, property taxes. The average US rate is around 1.1%, but let's be real. In places like New Jersey or Texas, you're getting fleeced. Over 30 years, at an average of $5,000 a year, that's $150,000 gone. Poof! To the government. Second, insurance. You've got to protect the bank's asset. That's another $60,000 over the life of the loan. Third, maintenance. Experts say you should budget 1% of the home's value annually for repairs. New roof? $15,000. New HVAC? $8,000. Over 30 years? That's $135,000. Finally, the closing cost scam, 3 to 5% when you buy and 6% when you sell. On a $450,000 house, that's over $50,000 just in transaction fees. Let's do the tally. Original price, $450,000. Interest, $545,000. Taxes, insurance, and maintenance, $345,000. Total cost, $1.34 million. For a $450,000 house. Now, let's say after 30 years the house has doubled in value. You sell it for $9 to $100,000. You think you're a genius. No, you absolute walnut. You spent $1.34 million to get back $9 to $100,000. After commissions, you were down nearly $500,000 in real terms. But Gerald, you whine, I had to live somewhere. Yes, you did. But don't call it an investment, it was a consumption choice. If you had taken that down payment and the extra money you spent on taxes and maintenance and put it into a low-cost SP 500 index fund, you'd be sitting on roughly $2.5 million after 30 years. That is the opportunity cost. You traded a multi-million-dollar retirement for the security of knowing you can paint your bathroom eggshell white without asking a landlord. Hope you like the color, because you're going to be eating cat food in that bathroom when you're 80. Alright, I've destroyed your dreams. Now I'm going to give you the blueprint so you don't end up as a house poor statistic. Here is the no BS exit strategy. Step 1. The rent versus buy reality check. Stop using the calculators provided by Zillow. They want you to buy. Use the 5% rule. If the annual cost of rent is less than 5% of the home's value, renting is cheaper. Period. If a $500,000 to $100,000 house rents for $2,000 a month, you are winning by renting. Step 2. Kill the starter home myth. Closing costs will eat your soul. You need the house to appreciate at least 12% just to break even. In a flat market, a starter home is just an anchor that prevents you from moving for a better job. Step 3. The 25% rule. Your total housing payment should never exceed 25% of your gross income, and I mean never. If the bank says you qualify for a $600,000 to $100,000 mortgage, look at a $400,000 to $100,000 mortgage. The bank wants you to be a debt slave. I want you to be free. Step 4. Max your HSA and 401k before overpaying the mortgage. I see people throwing extra money at a 4% mortgage while their investment accounts sit empty. That's financially illiterate. Use your liquidity to buy assets that actually appreciate, like the total stock market, rather than locking your cash into equity that you can't eat. Step 5. Treat your home like a Toyota. A Toyota Camry is a great tool. It gets you from A to B, but you don't tell your friends about the massive ROI on your Camry. Treat your house the same way. It's a place to live. It's a lifestyle expense. If you want an investment, buy a REIT or a rental property where someone else pays the interest and the termites. Look, if you want to buy a house because you want a backyard for your golden retriever, fine, do it. Just don't lie to me, and more importantly, don't lie to yourself, and call it a smart financial move. It's an expensive hobby. You've been conditioned to believe that a 30-year debt contract is a rite of passage. It's not. It's a trap designed to keep you productive and taxable in one zip code for 3 decades. Subscribe to this channel so you can stop being the bank's favorite little victim. Or don't. Keep throwing money away on interest and property taxes while telling yourself you're a real estate mogul. I'm sure that appreciation will kick in any day now. I'm Gerald. I'm not your dad, but I am the only one telling you the truth. Now go check your foundation for cracks. I can hear the wood rot from here.